off our agenda with an update from the extracurricular academic support salary schedule committee. Think of like there was one more word. What I am passing around are the rankings. So we reviewed all the proposals this year and sent out a ranking tool and a cost analysis for each proposal. And then I sent the ranking tool out again because I had left an entire proposal off of it. So we do that. This year we have a proposal to add a BLT chair at the middle school level. I know that happened last year for elementary, and then we were like, oh, there's not much for middle school. So Justin Howe brought that forward. Amy Stoltz brought forward a proposal that deals with Skills USA. And we had a Cyber Patriot proposal for both middle and high school from Jennifer O'Gorman. Avid proposal from Julie Fishburne. You'll see it listed as if they are staffed with a supervisory hour or not. It depends on master schedules each year. The first robotics proposal from Ian Taylor, and middle school and high school, and then a capstone proposal from Andrew Edmondson. And then you can see the levels outlined, or which levels these impact, whether the position is a lead or an assistant. Some of them have just one lead, it's going to have a head and an assistant. Where the group envisioned that position landing on the ECAS schedule, which what that estimated cost would be, and that's based off the current base salary. How many positions could potentially be created from that, and then what the max cost would be. Just some notes out to the side, like if you look at Cyber Patriots, right now we just have one high school participating in that. The max amount is based on if all 5 of our schools had that position. And right now we have no middle school sponsoring it, but again, the max is based on if all 10. So it depends on max exposure. And then they're each itemized per proposal, but then also there's a grand total at the bottom. And then you can see the rankings and how those fell out by the members of the committee.
And on the first robotics, high
school. I believe we have 2 for sure in high school.
On W
The latest out. I cannot tell you by memory. Middle school. I haven't used that ranking tool very often, but I did like how beyond just the overall ranking, how you could see at how often an item was ranked as a first choice or as a last choice down at the bottom. So
glad to see middle school BLT chair up there. I'm glad to see it be the equivalent amount of money as the high school, what's currently in the agreement for high school.
same placement on the salary schedule.
Yeah, I think it's important to know while we're looking at that data that because of where those extracurricular positions tend to be in our district, that committee is kind of skewed towards the high school side on representation. So to see the number one proposal be a middle school proposal, even with that in mind, is pretty striking. I mean, obviously, we hope everyone's thinking about everything early, but where people have experience with.
So I know we'll talk more about compensation later, but just have this.
The estimated cost that you have for each one of these, that's obviously based on this year's ECAS stipend schedule.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, or maybe last year, they made the transition to percentage of the base salary. Is that what you would assume, that whatever the percentage is for the amount that you put here is what would go to the new, a percent of the new base? So like if we had a $48,000 base, what you're essentially saying is that it would be a percentage of that base would go towards it. Is that right?
If, as long as we keep the ECAS schedule tied to that base salary, then yes.
If we're, for context on that, if we're using y'all's proposal from last time at that 48,172, then this number becomes 227,000. So it's
Okay, that was kind of my question. So
Yeah.
227.
this is based on 26,000 numbers this year. So yes.
Right, because as we did the work, that's what we knew.
Right.
The work around it.
I think that also that's a max cost.
Right.
Cannot bill.
And under continued discussions, I think we were really close to going down that food policy last time. I think the only thing that I could recall, and it was very helpful to have the minutes to go back, is if we're looking at that, the buyback proposal, are we considering if those are for people that are just returning, because that's how we have the language written now, or were we considering also buyback for if someone's resigning?
Talked a little bit about that last time, where
I did, but we didn't make any
Yeah.
adjustments to the language. So,
I might be wrong, but I thought. There was no, yeah, the incentive is still not paid that year.
Right, because I think we decided to take continuing or returning. Off that first.
off number 4, I think we were talking about lumping them as like a returning employee was allowed to do a what age. But I don't have that updated in English. Okay, so under prolonged absences, which I think is under rule 2, end of the year and end of employment items for.
I thought we were gonna talk about taking returning out of that front sentence. I don't feel like we. So then it would just say employees with paid time off remaining at the end of each contract year may roll remaining PTO to accumulated illness bereavement leave at a 1-to-1 day ratio. B, exchanged up to 3 days of current paid time off for 75% of the daily substitute rate. C, exchange the accumulated days for contribution by the district to the employee's health reimbursement arrangement account the year the employee will be retiring under CAPERS under the retirement insurance benefit policy. Do you think that makes sense?
Should we have the word return?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you okay if I do that on the document? It's in the draft consensus.
Yeah.
I had it in my head we had that. I'm so sorry. Had that conversation.
I thought I had to do it.
I guess we didn't do a printed version of it last time, did we?
No. Scheduling document.
There's only one thing updated. And that would be the testing schedule. Okay, I lied. There are a couple things updated. We talked about one of them last time. Went ahead and replaced wage back with payroll. I don't think that was actually changed in the last red line. And then on the very last page, Clint got me the structure of the high school testing day. I was trying to do math. And it doesn't seem like those, there's as long.
It's not,
Okay,
because that was, now they shortened the a little bit.
okay.
Like, there was a lot of extra time this year, so that actually worked out well. This thing was, that I sent you, that after 315,
Uh-oh.
and that says building director professional development.
Oh, you
Change
did
that,
remember
brought
that.
back. So if we just wanna get, maybe we can do the same thing, just pull it up and edit it right here. so we can call it
Yes.
done. There's a wording I sent you. It's basically, it's time dedicated for our teacher council.
Oh, yeah.
And that after.
That's what I get for trying to go off memory. Yep. Yeah, I'm pulling it up here. Testing day, there we go. Okay, after this time, we'll do stuff. Oh, because now it'll be one-to-one student contact time.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's another one that it has for the last couple of years since we kind of changed that format.
That changed, yeah. I'm gonna pull it up on the screen or
Yeah.
let's see if it'll let me.
Remember which tab it's under?
It's under committees. Is
Big
this-
on that 1215, 315, just said, right, just type in there, time block.
Oh, look at that. This is much easier to see than the other one. Ooh. Okay. No. I don't know why there's that extra space, but we'll Okay, so this should say time for
Yeah,
conferences.
it's time allotted.
Probably don't need capital A. Conferences. And then all of this
And
tab.
that counts.
One. Okay. Okay.
Even the lunch, 10:55 to 12:15 also counts as.
The asterisk
No, the
goes with
asterisk
this.
shows that it's at 12:15. At 12:15 and 3:15.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see the asterisk.
Yeah, it's-
On this.
Very tiny,
Okay,
especially.
thank you.
Well, I guess just to be clear, you could say conference time will be counted as student.
Okay, yeah.
Middle school scheduling document, I had, that Dawn already did contract changes, so, I have reached out to. I know that that committee is still meeting tomorrow to do additional work that may inform this, but, and of course, this didn't print, I didn't print this in color, but I did update under professional day, the contract time. And then the only other update is under the agreement to supervise one Sherm Owen for the variance, teaching a 6+ variance, just striking the track and then changing it over to payroll system. And then on not print this off, but, for the elementary scheduling document, we had pretty much everything finalized, except we were working on getting information from our larger schools about plan time on the half days. Our language currently says 30 minutes of plan time on those half days, and it is like super impossible on the day that we discussed earlier, and fairly impossible on days before they're longer, so how do we share it out and
Sure.
things we can move forward with?
So basically, I went to our largest elementary school in the school district, which is Manchester Park, by about 5 sections. They are projected, I believe, at 30 sections. And I think the next closest is 25, all right? And so mainly talked to Jenny Steele, the principal over there, to kind of see what a realistic amount of time would be, and specifically looking at the earliest dismissal time, because we only have one day of an 11:30 at elementary dismissal next year. I'm almost positive only one day of that, and the rest of them are at 12:10, I think. And so kind of started by just looking what percentage of a typical day do we have, a plan time. Okay, how close can we get to that? And what we figured out is that, and if Manchester Park can do it, then everybody should in theory be able to work with that as well. And it looks like it would be possible to go down to 20 minutes and guarantee at least 20 minutes of additional plan, or excuse me, of plan on the half days. And that would work even with the 11:30 dismissal time. So really the proposal is just to change 30 minutes to 20 minutes, keep the rest of the language the same.
A minimum of 20 minutes.
A minimum of 20 minutes, because there may be an opportunity for more than that, especially on the 12:10 dismissal days, but at least on 11:30, we say, okay, 20 minutes is reasonable, we can do that.
And I know later, in the time section, it says in general, elementary time will be scheduled across at least 30 minutes. I think we're talking in general.
Yeah.
would be a whole day of student attendance.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, I think that language still stands.
I agree. Unless you feel like we need to throw something in there that says full day in general. They need to occur in 30-minute blocks on full days.
So,
If you feel like we need to just put something in there that clarifies that the 30 minutes in order to be counted as planned time, that it's clarified that that's on a full day. Because we're saying that it could be 20 minutes of planned time if it's half.
I think, I
Am I-
don't think that would hurt anything. I think most of our schools with lower sections are gonna be able to comfortably fit that half hour. So I think that, I don't know, I don't know if we have to put something in for the exception, but it certainly wouldn't hurt. I mean,
I'm good either way. Because we won't know until if it becomes an issue next year.
Yeah, the 20-minute language would be at a professional day.
Right.
So the
But the
issue may
plan
come up if
time-
somebody sees
Like,
in
oh,
general a page later.
yeah, they're saying that it contradicts.
Yeah.
I could try and type something up real simple if you want me to, or if you want to just leave it be.
It would only be necessary because then master schedules were then starting to be built around 20-minute blocks of plan time on full days, which
Which I feel like it's saying, no, can't do that. And that's fine.
I don't know strongly either way, so.
Leave it.
I think our half days aren't
Typical.
enough that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Todd was noticing, oh, in the contract times, we need to look at the conference guidelines. Ripples, trust.
So there should essentially be the same language that's in the negotiated agreement now, but with different times. I mean, the print is getting awfully small in the negotiated agreement, trying to cram both of these in. And the fact that we have different middle and high school times now,
And break out.
and to break out the middle. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't change any of the structural language, just the time for it doesn't.
I don't know if this is, if this matters, but I'm noticing this document, probably the secondary one, we're using educator sometimes and teacher other times. I understand it is the same thing, but we've been trying to use more educator than teacher. So we might just do a control F.
I can do that.
Where it says the scheduling document should be sent to families. Is that, are all buildings moving to Synergy for that scheduling, or was that just a North thing?
It says to determine, or at least in the elementary, it says determine by building. I don't have the secondary in front of me.
Elementary, I think most schools tend to use Synergies, but there's no need.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think maybe there was an email hinting it would be Synergy at high school, but
Gotcha.
I don't know if that aligns.
Yeah, I know some, was there a pilot last year?
Yeah, we tried using, the Synergy. I just didn't know, because if that was going to be a thing, then that could clean up.
Where's that, where did that actually?
In the very top. 6, bullet point down, just the scheduling document.
The fourth high school, the parallel one.
Maybe in the parentheses, we just need to add Synergy. Shelby's
No.
dropping the ball.
And Synergy's in there.
We do have.
Synergy's
in there.
Shelby, Shelby was told not to do it.
Thanks, Shelby.
Using secondary.
Or do we even, kind of what we got into with way back and payroll systems, do we even just put in standard documents
Mhm.
and leave it generic so that programs that
Sure.
Yeah.
we went from way back from payroll system, we just say schedule, so now it's in document and just strike it.
Yeah.
I think at this point, people know the options.
Right.
Versus when we started, maybe.
Sure.
Not maybe we just leave it that way. Figure.
Got it.
Like that.
Yeah. And I don't think we have the word parent in here anywhere, but it is in the book itself, the
Yeah.
agreement itself does say parent.
Yeah.
And so I think
Is that something we had in our language committee?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That should all get adjusted at the final draft
Yeah.
document.
Notice that sometimes it uses staff. It's staff synonymous with
Mhm.
education. Like I see one in the middle high school, it says each certified staff member. Which is a staff, which I think are they synonymous. Yeah.
All tend to be, but it probably is all the same word.
Yeah, Just trying to think.
You want staff to educator also,
I'm
each
thinking
certified
less.
educator. So I guess instead of staff member, it would be just educator.
Just a few of them.
Okay.
And you guys gonna be on the elementary,
I know,
but not the
noticed
high
that
school
too.
one.
Oh, interesting.
Response back to the initial communication package. Clean that up.
And I have an email pulled up that it sent to all of us as soon as we're done talking to you, so I don't have access to the same information here, but. If you want to pull it up, the QR code and tiny URL both point to the same place. So, in broad terms, we are not coming back with a really substantial change from what you all proposed. We think that you did, like, we were pretty happy with going through the interest in our notice letter and kind of matching up and trying to meet as much of those as you were able to, while providing a creative approach that also allows us to get that starting salary boosted. So, we agree in principle to a large amount of the components of the offer. We are going to have a slight change that impacts a small group of our educators, but for the most part is fairly similar for everyone. What our counter offer looks like is to do the move and slide with one level rather than 3 levels, and then to adjust the new base from the 46,713 to a 48,172. So there would be a multiplication going to the base. The difference that takes place in is then those bottom levels of the schedule were on that 0.006 step. And I'll walk through a couple examples of who that impacts and how that works. But rather than having everyone go down 3 and then rebuild from there, have everyone go down 1, rebuild, and then do a scale up on the base. We would also propose as part of this that whatever plan we land on, that we not renumber levels. We think that there is already some confusion perhaps about where people stand, and if someone goes from level 5 this year to level 5 next year, that may not feel as though a gain has been made. So I think that keeping the numbers the same rather than renumber would allow for us to better communicate that there has been a step down. So then this would have us place new educators with no experience in level 2 because our revised schedule would have no level. There's also a couple, as we were going through and talking about some technical adjustments that we think might need to be made to other places in the agreement. One is, as we have tied more and more things to the base salary, we think it would be good to have a definition of base salary added to the glossary, not stuck on the specific language that we have put together here. If there are better suggestions, they're definitely open to them. But we think it's important that, especially if we're going to have a salary schedule that starts at level 2, that everyone is in agreement on what a base salary is. And then, this is a very get a mouse and cookie problem, that then you find the term base salary used in one policy to mean something completely different. So we would also think that we should probably remove the word base from that policy. It's the policy regarding the voluntary early retirement plan that refers to an employee's base salary, when it's trying to say what it means is exclusive of all the other supplementals or other side work you've done. But we don't think it makes sense to talk about an individual employee base salary. So there's somewhere in there where it says contract salary. That's the language we kind of propose as the alternative there. So those are just small pieces. But the big piece of why we think it's important to slightly adjust the plan from the original offer is because the purpose of our redesign was to have a schedule where we could reliably do all 3 different ways of growing salaries: the step that recognizes experience, the column that recognizes professional development, and an enhancement to the base that kind of helps all ships rise. And if we do a plan that only provides level and column movement and then does some restructuring, then the people who miss out the most are our most experienced educators. And to an extent, we know that that's part of the design of this salary schedule, is that we get you to where we think is a good, comfortable career point, and then the steps are smaller. But we still think it would be appropriate if we're adding to the base and scaling all those numbers up to provide that. So some examples, I pulled a few cells that are particularly populated cells in our scattergram right now. And you can see that for the vast majority of educators, they're like those first 2 rows there. The bachelor's was plus 24 hours on on level 7, the master's plus 24 hours on level 18 are examples. And pretty much anyone in those first 22, 23 levels, our counter offer does not propose anything different than what the impact would be of your offer. The people that would have slightly different outcomes are the folks that are in that fringe right about to move into the slower portion of the schedule, and then the folks who are already down below that. And you can see that those are the folks who in the district offer would receive a somewhat smaller percentage of a raise, and that is the group that we would propose to have a little bit of a different outcome. And notice again that even so, that the folks who are already in that slower portion would not receive the same as everyone else, but it'd be closer. My cost estimates are slightly different than yours, John, but that's mostly because I'm starting from the scattergram that was shared as part of the just package of communication. So, I mean, I'm not saying I'm not saying I think you're wrong. I think we're just starting at different starting points on things. So our estimate actually has your offer a little higher than you had it at like 9.5 if you add up the things. So enhancement plus the extracurricular. This offer costs approximately a little under $300,000 more just to hit that those groups that are a little bit so yeah, like I say on there, I think the delta between the two is pretty reliable. I'm fairly sure that your numbers are a little bit more up to date as far as it might be a couple of the same ones, maybe close enough. Yeah, either way. And our numbers do include FICA, the current like ECAS costs, 6-hour variance, all the other data that we have, but any new ECAS proposals will of course be on top of this. So I've got a couple things. Have on this, the front in blue is our current salary schedule. The back in green is my attempt to draft up what the new one would look like, knowing I may be off by $1 here and there because of different scaling, but just have a picture of that. And then the 2 language components to glossary and to the voluntary early retirement. I just hit send on the email with this presentation to you.
Can I ask a real quick question? I just want to make sure. So, an educator we're hiring from brand new to district, fresh out of college, is going to be at the 48,172. Our
Yep.
current educators that are in year one are going to bump to level 3 in this for next year.
So they would move to level 2, which becomes the new top of the schedule. I didn't have the red
Okay.
rows, but yeah,
So
that
if-
piece of your offer is reserved in just one
Okay,
range.
got it. Thank you.
Like the level down, then top.
Yes.
It's just.
Get a chance to talk, John will talk some about the compensation part, but before that, Michelle had a chance to kind of go through some of the PTO language, one little update there. Figured we just try to nail that, get that out of the way while we're thinking about it.
So I'm gonna just, would you care if I take over first?
Sure.
Sorry.
Some of the phone that connect.
Great, I'll
So
change
this one
you.
works better than.
It does.
So I think I found another quick spot we need to probably just talk about while we're all together. And I'm going to pull up our draft consensus language, because I thought that might be easiest. So here I'm on our language, we can just revise where we took out returning. But then I got to reading right up above and we're contradicting ourselves.
Yes.
So what I'm thinking would make the most sense is to move this statement right here. I'm gonna do this, and then if we decide this doesn't work, we can change. Yeah, we can undo. I'm really good at undoing. Move it down to the bottom here. Oh, morning. No, nothing's easier. There we go. And then on this statement, I think we need to take out, it won't void paid time off because those options are up above. But it would void illness, bereavement, except those specified in the retirement insurance benefit plan. Then up here, I think we make this the new number 3.
Okay.
Let me see if this works.
I think it is the number 3. Yes.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
once you take all the red lines.
Once you take over the red lines, yeah.
And then this we would make number 4, in my mind. Ooh. It's not pretty, but. So let's kind of scroll up here just to be sure. So prolonged absences, end of the year and end of employment. So we talk about the 3 consecutive days, 1 time per year before 5 days. And then number 3 would be employees with paid time off remaining at the end of each contract year may roll remaining PTO to accumulated illness bereavement leave at a 1-to-1 day ratio. Exchange up to 3 days of current paid time off or 75% of the daily substitute rate. C, exchange the accumulated leave days for contribution by the district to the employee's health reimbursement arrangement account the year the employee will be retiring under papers. Should I be adding accumulated illness bereavement to keep our language consistent here?
And C.
Right here.
Yeah.
The new number 4 would only apply to the accumulated illness bereavement, correct?
I think that separates that out. Yeah.
So in number 3, it specifies at the end of the contract year. Do we need something like that? I'm just trying to make sure it's clear that number 4 is after what's above, which moving it down, I think helps.
And that's accumulated leave.
3. 3 is employees per.
Oh, I see, okay. Makes sense. Yes.
So even when I'm retiring, I can roll it to accumulated illness bereavement leave. And then I still have the exchange, those accumulated leave days for the contribution to the HRA.
That makes sense.
Wellness has an extra S.
Illness.
Oh, there, you're number 4, yeah.
Oh, we got a squiggly line, got it. Sorry.
No, that's, I
To
do that.
detour us again, but, okay, thank you. Now you're on.
Oh. Todd, did you want to?
Oh, you
Oh, sure.
have-
Yeah, while you're loading that, I can say, so one of the last things, kind of elementary planning time, kind of not, is the decision to move officially to a Monday through Friday for everything other than an A through D specials rotation. Is that something that we feel we're ready to move forward with that? Does it need any additional discussion?
I think we talked about that a little bit in the other 2 policies. I think professional development day mentioned PLCs. And we struck sit from being on the rotation. Are you thinking
I think on
need a broader?
well, the only other one, and I don't have it right in front of me, but on, let's see, the plan time PLC, we have it on there. I guess I'm just looking for the green light. Are we good to say everything else Monday through Friday? I can look through the language in the agreement one more time, but
Just to make sure that we've noted all those spots.
I guess so, yeah.
I think that was the understanding from the committee.
Agree, Shelby?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
So
And-
then when we worked through the language, we
Mhm.
struck the sit
Okay,
and
so we can say that's kind of
change.
part of draft consensus is the transition to A through D for
Mhm.
specials.
And everything else falling on.
Everything else essentially falling Monday through Friday, which would be like sit, PLC.
Yeah, so GBZEA is the professional development policy. It's in draft consensus. Then the other reference is straight in the elementary scheduling document.
All right, now it's your
So we find
First of all, thank you for response to our proposal, and that's the response to the response. Basically, we'll accept your counter of 1 level movement and the salary schedule structure. One change we'd like to make, as you saw, we were in a fairly lengthy executive session with the board, who has challenged us to really try to get the starting teacher salary a bit higher, even though I can't pinpoint where that comes from. It's sort of the John find a way to make it work. So we would like to adjust that base within your structure to 48.5. In addition, we would propose, based on the committee's recommendations, that we would implement a middle school BLT, Skills USA, and added extracurricular stipends. And one kind of caveat, Eric, I don't know if your model is not shareable, if I could just have tomorrow to make sure all the numbers flow and we agree. I'm not built to do it the way you did it, so I need just a little bit of time, but I have every confidence that we usually agree pretty well on the numbers, so I just need 24 hours just to double check it all.
Well, and we do have the middle school committee meeting tomorrow, who may come back with a recommendation, but so that would be a good
Yeah.
amount of time that
Sure.
we can parcel.
It won't
through.
take long, it's too much for the city.
Yeah, we didn't touch page 77, did we?
Those have all gotta be done.
Well, that's that one where it has the
The
table.
form.
No, it's not the form, it's the table. The tape. Just saw that.
77.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's fun.
I have some chicken scratch on mine here, but that could be one.
So I need to do that on Tuesday.
I've got some thoughts for you.
Okay.
Pretty quickly knock it out.
Got it.
Did we ever do the list of like reasons for non-discretionary? Did we update
It's
that?
on page 77.
Is that the page 77? That's page, okay.
Oh,
I just wasn't sure off the top of my head what was on page 77.
No.
Or is that the
Page 77 is.
Oh, leave when
separated.
separated.
That's 74. So that those still have work to do. And probably 73, which is the form.
Yeah, my team's working really on 73. We talked about whether or not it makes any sense to even have forms in here anymore because this form really isn't even used because this is all kind of built now in like on
Digital,
base.
yeah.
And so I actually have a meeting with my team to circle back around on Wednesday because we've been in talks with Cherry Road, who's our Oracle implementer, to see what can be built in there and what can't be and what that needs to look like. So I'll have more information after we meet on Wednesday. But yeah, those are other ones we need to. I think 77 we can update though.
There's a, I hate to open this can of worms. There's a couple more forms in here. One of them's on my learning plan. So Jenna Cooter and I are gonna take a look at that one. It's the part-time staff scheduling form. But then the other one, and I had, Eric and I had touched base on the it's page 64 and 65 are other forms for reimbursements. They're not stipends, but they're reimbursement for both initial portfolio for national boards and then non-KSD license renewals. So
He was looking into whether some of that could be programmed too.
yeah, he had sent me information, but I think where he was pointing me, at least for the national boards, was this stipend that comes
paid
after you've
annually.
already
Yeah.
earned it. It wasn't the reimbursement. So, we have some work to do.
I have a question going back to your comment earlier, band and strings.
Yeah.
Is that
Same.
it's on the 5-day,
It
Not
was on a
eight.
rotation, it would transition to a Monday through Friday. So instead of AC and every other, and then BT and every other E.
Oh, that's
okay,
we would
wow,
have to-
Monday,
okay.
Wednesday, and every other Friday.
Is that something we would have to double check? Is able to be done with Martha?
I did,
Okay.
yeah, I have.
I think we've had like a variation of some doing it days of the week and some doing
It's
it
doing it letter
rotations.
days.
Yeah, you're right. Dabbling in the days, I don't know how that works. But it actually will help because a lot of our elementary band and strings also support middle and high.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a list of things that we've tried to visit with everybody to say, would this work for you?
Do you have any more questions about the compensation proposal to the counter? Yeah, I was giving wait time, but
Oh.
I hear no
Sorry.
questions.
No, no, it's okay. We don't get wait time tonight.
We have 15 minutes. we have a counter proposal to your proposal. We considered everything in your proposal, but we really like to also include FIRST Robotics from the ECAS
On the
schedule
high school level.
at the high school level. I think it was a program that has sustained the budget cuts to those programs, and the program has flourished. So our students weren't impacted at all by those cuts, but the staff have kept those programs going. So that's just our reasoning. I think right now we've got 2 high schools where it's running.
And you said just at the high school level, right?
Just the high school
So
level.
that one's where your maximum cost is at $39,700,
Right.
but your current cost would really be more like
16,000.
16,000.
That was dangerous.
unless a third or fourth high school got on board.
Take.
Sure.
I'm missing.
It's all right.
He has to come back.
That's- that's-
Or he slipped in the wall.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be your bad, yeah.
Oh, I really don't want to try out.
I almost tipped up my chair in there, so.
Yeah, hopefully there's a sign you guys put up out there. All right, we had a chance to talk and, we're good with the adding robotics at the high school.
Awesome.
So I think we want to move on the compensation piece.
We just have all the dangling,
Thank
Part
you,
of the-
documents.
hanging chads, if you will. But I really think we can work through those. We may need a report from our middle school group, and then any language adjustments on forms and stuff. Can we communicate those via email?
We have a formal committee share out. Figure out.
The best way to do that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe we should figure that out. Are you talking about a group meeting?
Yeah.
Could we share that public on like the website or something?
Like a report from the committee.
Report, like a memo in lieu of minutes or something.
We could do, like, if I were to inform the bargaining unit that we've come to a consensus agreement on compensation and many other things, I could then let them know that we have a potential committee update that will be coming. Might have to be communicated in written form, video, song, dance, interpretive theater.
Not all the songs. Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Go through that. Yeah, not at 10 though, because I'm talking to Shelby.
Tell me. I will rearrange my schedule, make myself available.
Is there anything else we need to do tonight?
So just, I'm running back through the minutes, so it was pages like 73, 74, 77.
64 and 65.
64 and 65. And I think that was really it that needed to be looked at and adjusted for forms and things like. Okay.
Like I said, I'm wondering if it would make more sense for us to embed a link or something rather than
Yeah.
having
Those forms in there.
But I think that's what we can by talk about
Mm-hmm.
and figure out what makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you very much.
All right.